Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something you specifically requested.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
It's the world of WordPress comments,
Okay.
and more specifically, the idea of rearranging them.
Okay.
So the newest ones appear first.
Interesting.
You sent over an article
Uh-huh.
from Now Technology Systems.
Okay.
They're an Australian web design company,
I see.
and they make a compelling case for why this matters.
Gotcha.
So let's dive in.
Let's do it.
So it's interesting because most of us are used to chronological order,
Right.
like oldest to newest.
Yeah.
But when it comes to online engagement,
Uh-huh.
that's not always the most effective approach.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
It's interesting because most of us are used to it, but it might not be the best.
And the article points out that in Australia's fast-paced digital landscape, people expect to see the latest updates right away.
Makes sense?
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's like how we're all glued to our social media feeds, constantly refreshing to see what's new.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like we're programmed to look for the latest thing.
Exactly.
It goes beyond just social media, though.
Yeah.
Think about email inboxes, news websites,
Oh, yeah.
even project management tools.
That's true.
The newest items are almost always at the top.
Yeah.
We've been trained to look there first.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
applying that same logic to comments
Makes sense.
just makes for a smoother, more intuitive user experience.
I like that.
Yeah.
Smoother.
Smoother.
More intuitive.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
And the article doesn't just say this feels better.
Right.
They list some solid benefits.
Oh, okay. Like what?
Improved engagement.
Okay.
Because people can jump right into current discussions.
Makes sense.
Time savings for everyone.
Yeah.
And it keeps the content feeling fresh and relevant.
I like that.
Imagine a news blog or an online store where the conversation is constantly evolving.
Right.
Wouldn't you want to see the latest comments first?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially for like a news blog or something
Right.
where things are happening quickly.
Yeah.
You want to know what people are saying now?
Yeah.
Not like a week ago.
And it's like walking into a party
Oh, yeah.
and immediately being drawn to the most animated conversation.
Right. You want to be where the action is.
You want to know what's happening now.
Exactly.
Plus, from a business perspective, it shows that you're responsive and engaged with your audience.
That's a good point.
A potential customer is more likely to trust a business that addresses questions and concerns promptly.
Right.
And having those newest comments front and center makes that a lot easier.
Definitely. Yeah. It shows you're on top of things.
Okay, so we're on board with newest first.
Yeah.
But for those of us who aren't coding whizzes, how easy is it to actually make this change in WordPress?
That's one of the great things about WordPress.
Oh.
It's incredibly user-friendly.
I like that.
Yeah.
User-friendly?
User-friendly.
It's good.
Changing the comment order is literally a 3-click process.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go to Settings, then Discussion.
Okay.
And under Comment Display,
Uh-huh.
you can choose to show the newest comments at the top. Done.
That's it.
That's how straightforward it is.
Wow.
No need to hire a developer or wrestle with lines of code.
So you're telling me I can do this?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
But for those who want even more control over their comments,
Okay.
this is where things get exciting.
Ooh, exciting.
Plugins, right?
Plugins?
Exactly. Plugins are like little power-ups for your WordPress site.
I like that.
Yeah.
Power-ups.
And speaking of power-ups, the article mentions 2 plugins specifically for comment management.
Okay.
Decent Comments
Uh-huh.
and AJAX Comments.
Let's unpack these a bit.
Okay.
Decent comments sounds pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
It helps you make your comments, well, more decent.
More decent, yeah.
But what kinds of customization does it actually offer?
It goes beyond just aesthetics. Decent Comments gives you granular control over how comments are sorted, filtered, and displayed.
Okay.
You can create threaded conversations,
Oh, wow.
highlight comments based on certain criteria,
I see.
even integrate with social media platforms.
Oh, that's cool.
It's all about fine-tuning the experience
Yeah.
to match your specific needs and the type of community you want to foster on your site.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And AJAX comments,
Yes.
that one sounds a bit more technical.
Yeah, a little bit.
What's the magic behind that?
AJAX stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML.
Right.
But you don't really need to worry about the technical jargon.
Okay, good.
What it does is allow users to post comments and see them appear instantly
Oh, wow.
without having to refresh the entire page.
That's cool.
It creates a much more seamless and engaging experience.
Yeah.
Especially for lively discussions.
It's like the difference between sending a text message
Yes.
and waiting for a letter in the mail, right?
Exactly. That immediacy can be a game changer
For sure.
for keeping people engaged.
But with all this talk about plugins and customization,
Yeah,
I do wonder about the data protection aspect.
that's a good point.
The article mentions that briefly.
Yeah.
What are the key concerns there?
That's a great point whenever you're adding functionality to your website,
Mm-hmm.
especially something like comments that involve user data.
Mm-hmm.
It's crucial to be mindful of privacy and security.
Right.
You need to make sure the plugins you choose are from reputable developers,
Okay.
that they handle data responsibly,
Makes sense.
and that they comply with all relevant regulations like GDPR.
Right.
This is where doing your research and carefully reading plugin descriptions and reviews becomes really important.
Yeah, like you don't want to just install something.
Exactly. You got to do your homework.
Right.
Make sure it's trustworthy.
It's like inviting people into your home.
Totally.
You want to make sure they're trustworthy and respectful.
You got it.
Just as you'd have house rules. It's important to have clear guidelines for your comment section.
Good point.
The article stresses the importance of prompt replies, wise moderation, and encouraging meaningful interaction.
Right.
It's more than just letting people rant or rave, isn't it?
Exactly. It's about creating a culture of respect and thoughtful engagement.
Okay.
By responding to comments promptly,
Yeah.
you show your audience that you value their input.
Makes sense.
Wise moderation ensures that the conversation stays constructive
Uh-huh.
and avoids spiraling into negativity or spam.
Yeah, no one wants that.
And by encouraging meaningful interactions,
Yeah.
you can transform your comment section from a simple feedback forum into a vibrant community hub.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
A vibrant community hub.
Building on that idea of community,
Yeah.
the article makes a really interesting point
Okay.
about how businesses can leverage comments as opportunities rather than just seeing them as random chatter.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
It's easy to think of comments as just a side feature, but the way you're describing it, they sound more like a goldmine of insights waiting to be tapped.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Every comment is a potential touch point with a customer or prospect.
Okay.
It's a chance to understand their needs, address their concerns,
Uh-huh.
and build relationships that go beyond a simple transaction.
So it's not just about answering questions or putting out fires.
Right.
It's about turning those interactions into something more meaningful.
Exactly. Think about it this way.
Okay.
Each comment is a little window into what people are thinking and feeling about your brand, your products, your industry.
Right.
By paying attention to those comments,
Uh-huh.
you can gain valuable insights that you might not get from any other source.
It's like having a focus group happening in real time on your website.
Right. It's like free market research.
But I imagine this can get overwhelming,
Yeah.
especially for businesses with lots of traffic and comments pouring in.
Right.
Any tips from the article on how to manage all of that effectively?
They highlight a few key strategies.
Okay.
First, set clear guidelines
Mm-hmm.
for what's acceptable and what's not in your comment section.
Makes sense.
This helps set expectations for your audience
Yeah.
and makes moderation much easier.
Okay.
It's like having house rules.
Right.
Everyone knows what's allowed and what's not,
Right.
so there are fewer surprises.
So it's not about stifling free speech.
Right.
It's about creating a space where everyone feels comfortable participating
Exactly.
and the conversation stays productive.
Right, and then
Yeah.
be consistent with your moderation.
Okay.
Don't let spam or offensive comments linger.
Uh-huh.
Address them swiftly and decisively.
Okay.
This shows that you're paying attention
Right.
and that you care about creating a safe and welcoming environment for everyone.
I see.
It also discourages trolls and spammers
Yeah.
from wasting their time on your site.
Makes sense. Now, what about responding to comments?
Good call.
How often should businesses aim to reply? And is it realistic to expect them to answer every single one?
That's a great question, and the article acknowledges that it's not always feasible
Right.
to respond to every single comment,
Okay.
especially for busy websites.
Here.
But as a general rule, aiming to respond within 24 hours is a good target.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to be like right there.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
It shows that you're actively listening and that you value your audience's input.
Makes sense.
And even if you can't craft a detailed response to every comment,
Mm-hmm.
even a simple thank you or a quick acknowledgement can go a long way in making people feel seen and appreciated.
Right. It's like that saying,
Yeah,
people may not remember exactly what you did or
Yeah.
what you said,
right.
but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even a small gesture of acknowledgement can make
Yeah.
a positive impact.
And when it comes to fostering those meaningful interactions, the article suggests being proactive.
Okay.
Don't just wait for comments to come in. Prompt your audience with thoughtful questions.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So give them something to respond to.
For example, if someone comments on a blog post, ask them what resonated with them most, or what other topics they'd like to see covered.
Right. Because then they're more likely to actually engage.
Yeah.
And give you some valuable feedback.
It's like being a good host at a party.
Totally.
You don't just stand in the corner and wait for people to talk to you.
Right.
You circulate.
Yeah.
You introduce people.
Yeah.
You start conversations.
It's about creating a welcoming and engaging atmosphere.
Exactly.
And it highlights the importance of viewing your comments section as more than just a passive feedback forum.
Right.
It's a dynamic space where you can connect with your audience on a deeper level, build relationships, and even gather valuable insights that can inform your business decisions.
So instead of treating comments like something to be managed or controlled,
Right.
we should be thinking of them as opportunities to learn, grow, and build a stronger community around our brand.
Exactly. And WordPress,
Yeah.
with its user-friendly platform and vast ecosystem of plugins, provides the tools to do just that.
It's powerful stuff.
It really is. But there's one more layer to this whole conversation that I think is really fascinating.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
It's about how even subtle design choices, like the way we display comments, can have a profound impact on user behavior.
Okay, now you've got me intrigued. Tell me more about this hidden layer of design psychology.
Let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and explore how the way we structure our websites, even down to seemingly insignificant details,
Okay.
can subconsciously influence how people interact with us online.
I like it.
It's all about understanding the psychology behind user experience.
So we're back, and I'm ready to unpack this design psychology thing.
Okay, cool.
It's amazing to think that something as simple as comment order could have a psychological impact on users.
It really is.
For real?
Yeah, we often think of website design just in terms of aesthetics. But every element from the color scheme to the placement of buttons sends a message to your visitors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it shapes their perception of your brand
Okay.
and subconsciously guides their actions.
So even something as seemingly minor as putting the newest comments first could actually influence how people interact with our website.
Precisely.
Wow.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
When you display newest comments first, it subtly signals that your website is a dynamic, up-to-date space
Okay.
where conversations are happening in real time.
Makes sense.
It encourages participation and creates a sense of immediacy.
Right.
On the flip side, a site where you have to scroll through pages of older comments
Right.
to get to the latest replies
Yeah.
might feel static or outdated.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's almost like the difference between walking into a bustling cafe
Oh, yeah.
and a quiet library.
Totally.
One invites you to join the conversation, while the other encourages a more contemplative, solitary experience.
Exactly. And I'm guessing this principle extends beyond just comments.
So it's like a broader design principle.
Absolutely. It applies to all aspects of web design.
Oh, wow.
For example, the placement of your call to action buttons can significantly influence conversion rates.
Really?
Yeah, using white space effectively can improve readability and user focus.
Okay.
Even the font you choose conveys a certain tone or personality.
Huh, interesting.
All these subtle cues work together
Right.
to create a user experience that either encourages or discourages certain behaviors.
It's fascinating to consider how much thought goes into crafting a truly effective online experience.
It is. It's a whole science.
It's not just about making things look pretty. It's about strategically using design elements to guide users towards desired outcomes.
That's a great point. And it's important to be mindful of the ethical implications here.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
We're not talking about manipulating people or using dark patterns to trick them into doing something they wouldn't otherwise do. Ethical design is about creating a win-win situation.
I like that win-win.
Yeah, where users feel empowered and engaged, and businesses achieve their goals in a way that feels authentic and transparent.
It's about creating an experience that feels good for everyone involved.
Exactly.
This deep dive has really been eye-opening.
Glad to hear it.
I'm going to look at websites with a whole new perspective now.
That's awesome.
Paying attention to those subtle cues that I never noticed before.
That's the power of knowledge and critical thinking.
Right.
The more we understand about how things work, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions and create positive experiences for ourselves and others.
So to wrap things up, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember from this deep dive into the world of WordPress comments?
I'd say it's this.
Okay.
The way we design our online spaces matters. It's not just about aesthetics. It's about creating an experience that aligns with our goals and resonates with our audience. And even seemingly small details like comment display can have a surprisingly big impact on how people perceive and interact with our content.
That's a good point.
So think critically, experiment.
Yeah.
And always strive to create a user experience that feels both engaging and authentic.
Well said. A big thank you to Now Technology Systems for the article that sparked this fascinating conversation.
Absolutely.
And to you, our listener, for diving in with us.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
If you want to explore more on this topic, be sure to check out the links in the show notes.
And as always,
yeah,
keep those comments coming.
Yes, we love hearing from you. Until next time, happy exploring. So we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the world of WordPress comments.
Awesome.
And I'm ready to explore this idea of design psychology.
Okay, cool.
It's amazing to think that something as simple as comment order could have a psychological impact on users.
Yeah, it's wild how these little things can make a difference.
Like for real.
We often think of website design just in terms of aesthetics, but like we've been saying, every element, from the color scheme to the placement of buttons, it all sends a message.
So it's like a language.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about communication.
And so even something as seemingly minor as putting the newest comments first could actually influence how people interact with our website.
Precisely.
Wow.
It's like, think about it this way.
Sure.
When you see the newest comments first, it gives the impression that the website is like a dynamic space.
Right.
A place where conversations are happening actively.
So it's like you're part of the action.
Exactly. And on the flip side, if you have to scroll through pages of old comments to find the new stuff, it can feel kind of stale.
It's almost like you were saying before, like walking into a bustling cafe.
Oh, yeah, that analogy.
Versus like a quiet library.
Totally.
It's like one is more inviting to join the conversation.
Yeah, you want to be where the energy is.
Right, exactly.
And this idea applies to more than just comments.
Okay, so this is a broader principle.
Absolutely. It's like a fundamental principle of good web design.
So give me some more examples.
Okay, so like think about call to action buttons. Where you place those can make a huge difference in how many people actually click them.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah, and even something as simple as white space can make your content easier to read.
Right.
And help people focus on the important stuff.
It's like decluttering your website.
Exactly.
I like it.
And even like the font you choose can say a lot about your brand.
Oh, yeah, like a serif font versus a sans serif font.
Exactly. One might feel more traditional and the other more modern.
Right.
So yeah, all of these little details work together to create a certain feeling.
Okay. And that feeling is what guides people's behavior.
Yeah, basically.
So it's not just about making things look pretty. It's about using design to get people to do what you want them to do.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. But I think it's important to remember the ethical side of things.
Oh, yeah, good point.
We don't want to be manipulative or tricky.
Right, like we're not trying to trick people.
Exactly. Ethical design is about finding that balance.
Okay.
Where the user has a good experience and the website achieves its goals.
I see.
It's about being transparent and authentic.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
I like that.
Good design is good for everyone.
This deep dive has really made me think differently about web design.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm
going to start paying attention to those little cues.
I think you'll be surprised how much you notice.
I think so, too.
It's like you've unlocked a secret level of the internet.
So to wrap things up, what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
The big takeaway.
Yeah, like the one thing you want them to remember.
Okay. I think it's that every choice you make when designing your website matters.
Even the small stuff.
Especially the small stuff. Because those details can add up to create a big impact.
And that impact can be good or bad.
Right. It depends on how you use it.
So we have to be mindful.
Yeah. Think about what you want to achieve and then use design to help you get there.
It's like a superpower.
Yeah. You got it.
Awesome. Well, a big thank you to Now Technology Systems for the article that inspired this conversation.
Absolutely great article.
And to you, our listener, for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
If you want to learn more about this, check out the show notes for links.
And don't forget, leave us a comment.
Yes, we love hearing from you. Until next time, happy exploring.